तेजस्विनावधीतमस्तु मा विद्विषावहै। ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः। Today Swamiji told that Sanskrit is a vast ocean and that we should only focus on what is needed to study Vedanta. So based on that there are 3 questions. 1. Will the study of books authored by Medha Michika cover all the topics needed for Vedanta student? Yes. 2. Will the study of Sanskrit textbooks of the Central Board of Secondary Education cover all the topics needed for a Vedanta student? I have not seen the syllabus of the recent syllabus, I should say, of the Central Board of Secondary Education. Have you? CBSE?
They have a good standard.
They have a good standard, so it will cover everything that a Vedanta student needs? No. Okay. That's easy. I was also tending towards that answer. Then, what topics in Sanskrit should a Vedanta student focus on? Whatever is being taught here. Simple. This is a no-brainer. Yeah. This is a nice one. Why should moksha be the goal of one's life? Very good question. Moksha, first we have to understand what is moksha. Because what I do not know, I cannot have a desire for. So there may be so many things in this universe and in other universes also. If I don't know them, then how will I want it? If I want to have it, then I should know clearly what it is. Then only the desire for it can arise. So, we cannot say moksha is the goal of everybody's life or it should be the goal of one's life if we do not know what moksha is. So first we have to see what is this moksha. Moksha is freedom. If you say I already have freedom, then this topic is not for you. Okay? Then we will say enjoy the freedom. See us in the next 3-month course. Yeah. Because every freedom that we enjoy comes at a price. As we grow older, we know this. In the beginning, we don't know this. As we grow older, it becomes clear that the freedom comes with it certain limitations, certain constrictions. And we heard this word today, pratibandha, obstacles. And so this is the reason why this freedom that we know how to experience, either by, we only know 2 things, either approaching something and if I get this, I'm free, or if I withdraw from this, I am free. Sometimes it is in that order. First, I have to have this. If I can't have this, I'm not free. Oh my God, OMG, I need this right now. Okay, here, take it. Okay, now I don't want it after a while. And it's like marriage. In the beginning, yeah, I have to have this person. I can't live without this person. Without this person, my life is wasted. And then after that, yeah, I think we need space. Yeah. I think we need to have some little bit of space. So everything in the world is pravritti, nivritti based. It's based on running after something in order to be free, and being free is being happy, and in order to be happy, in order to be free, or you run away from something in order to be free, in order to be happy. And so, those happinesses, those freedoms are conditional. They are based on as long as that condition is there. What is the condition? The condition of the mind, the condition of the situation, all of which keeps changing. And so as long as the condition is maintained, I have moksha. So you can say, I had moksha for half an hour. When I was in nirvikalpa samadhi. As I have told you many times, whether you had moksha or not, other people around you had moksha from you. Okay, so that is there. And so then we have to see that this conditional moksha is not what I want. I want what? Unconditional freedom. A freedom that does not depend on time or place or manner or any other condition. Or a freedom that does not depend on running towards something or running away from something. That kind of a freedom I want. And what is it, the freedom I want? From a notion of limitations. So imagine your life without these notional limitations. That is what moksha is. And the person who has moksha is called mukta purusha. And this person has no rules. Ko vidhihi, ko nishedhaha. There is a very beautiful ashtakam called Shukashtakam, glorifying the son of sage Vyasa, whose name was Shuka. And the refrain at the end of every verse is Ko vidhihi, ko nishedhaha muktasya. For the free one, there are no rules. And there are no injunctions, there are no taboos, no prohibitions. And so this is what one wants. And this freedom, so this is why one should want moksha, because in wanting everything else, one does not get moksha. Moksha you have to choose separately, and only then you get that. And then this moksha as a pursuit is an as though pursuit. Why? Because you are already free. No, but you just said I am not free, come to the next course. Yeah, yes, I said that. But the truth of the one who feels bound is already free. So the bondage is a notional bondage which is dropped when the Vedanta knowledge takes place. So this notional bondage dropped, then there is unconditional freedom. And so looking at this bondage as notional itself is moksha. That this is not an ocean of samsara, what I am undergoing is what? Notion of samsara. That itself is a little bit of a freedom right there, and it's the starting point for understanding the truth of oneself. So whatever else you pursue, dharma, artha, kama, mocha in Starbucks, whatever else you pursue is finite. Mocha especially finite, because they'll just give this much, 8 ounces, then it's gone. But moksha is the truth of everything. All the purusharthas are gained. Everything you want is gained if you focus on moksha. That is the reason. So here I have become the promoter of moksha through this, in the form of this question. Oh, bada question. Very big question, okay? In the bhashya of verse, in verse which they are not telling, but anyhow, we have not done that many verses. In chapter 4, Shankaracharya mentions that the yoga knowledge was passed on to Kshatriyas, parampara, to protect Brahmanas. You elaborated that Brahmana refers to saints and sages who had the knowledge and does not refer to the classification of the Varna. The knowledge being passed on is also Brahmajnana, hence does that also imply that Kshatriyas were also Brahmajnanis? Yes. That's why in the very next verse they are called Rajarshayah api viduhu. This the sages who were also kings, they also knew. So with that they are equivalent to the Brahmanas, or can see, if we are not looking at Kshatriya, Brahmana as classes, then there is no equivalent here. You see that? So there is no equivalent or superior or inferior. The Kshatriyas also knew, the sages also knew. There are two lifestyles. The Kshatriyas knew and continued to be Grihasthas, and at some point they forgot to pass on, or it went into languor, a certain kind of an apathetic disuse of this Brahmajnana portion, fell into disuse. They were still doing the Karma Yoga portion, and the Karma portion was still being kept on going. This Brahmajnana portion fell into disuse, and this is what the Brahmanas in the first, so it was as though lost. So yogaha nashtaha, Lord Krishna says. So we have to add a little bit of as though there, because it was still being practiced in the forest, it was still being very much there in the forest. This Brahmajnana was still a knowledge that was being handed down in the forest. So there is no equivalent. And there is no, because we are not talking of classes of people, we are talking of lifestyles. That is what we are doing. So then, why is it the emphasis on Kshatriyas who had the possession of knowledge are also Brahmajnanis? This is why. This is why. The verse as such does not have that classification, but the Bhashya emphasizes. Yeah, this is why. Exactly this is why, because it is rare to find a Kshatriya who also, a Grihastha who also knows the knowledge. And it is rarer still to find a king who knows the knowledge. King means what? They are either stressed out and freaked out because they are being attacked from here and from there. I mean, you can see how the heads of, there was some project, they took the photographs of 10-12 heads of state as soon as they entered office. So they were elected or nominated, however, they just came to office and they were all happy, nice, young looking. And then 4 or 5 years later, they took the photo and you could not recognize some of them. They were just fried by the end of their term. So it's not an easy job to be a king and to take care of a whole kingdom. Because you are being attacked from there, something else is happening, there is domestic dispute, there is problems, there is, somebody is trying to overthrow the kingdom, all these things are going on. And so, it is very rare to find a king who has this knowledge, and therefore that is what is validated here. And at the same time, we have to face the fact that those kings were few and far between who knew this, and as a result, what happened? This knowledge, the Brahmajnana portion of this knowledge, and along with that, even the attention to Karma Yoga fell into disuse. What was left was the shell of Karma Phala, that is still left in the Hindu culture. And most of the people, you ask them, you just do a poll on the road, what is Upanishad? How many Upanishads can you name? Very few people will know anything. It is sad. Whatever is our cultural legacy, it has to go abroad and get a stamp of approval and then come back. This is what happened to yoga. We never did yoga. We said, yoga what? Very few of us growing up did yoga. It was not something that is done in every household, nothing like that. And then we didn't do yoga, but then yoga went, and there were yoga festivals, yoga studios, yoga this, yoga that, and yogic way of life and all this. And it went abroad, had a nice trip, and then yoga came back, foreign returned. And it was very much respected. So that is how it is with this knowledge too. So the Ganga, for the people for whom the Ganga is flowing in their backyard, for them it is nothing. They will spit in it, they will wash their clothes in it, they will, pollute it in other ways. But for the person coming from the southern tip of India, from Rameshwaram, somebody comes, they will just, as soon as they get down in Haridwar, they will just keep going like this with every step, even before they reach the river. So it's like that. We have been given this treasure chest and we are sitting on it. It's time to open it and make this knowledge one's own again. Next one. Is moksha gradual enlightenment of the mind with knowledge, or a sudden ecstatic experience of realization? Okay, another very good question. So, supposing I'm sitting here like this, okay, and I'm just thinking, okay, tat tvam asi. Oh my God, I'm enlightened, I got it. And then I mark 804 on, what is the date today? 6th of February 2026. Ooh, 2626. Ah, yes. Yeah, in America we would say 2626, right? Yeah. So, 2626. In India we would say 2626, yeah. And then I claim that for my enlightenment day. All right? Some people do that. Some people do that, and all the followers also celebrate. So and so, our Guru's enlightenment day. Nothing wrong as a bhavana, but the truth of the matter is that if enlightenment were an event that happens to the self, then the self would be time bound, place bound. You see, it's logic. Self would be definitely time bound if enlightenment were an event that happens to the self. An event or an experience by nature is what? Time bound. It happens at a certain time, it happens at a certain place. And the event comes and event goes away. Enlightenment comes and enlightenment goes away. And so therefore, we would say it's not even a gradual enlightening of the mind. We won't even use, I don't even like to use the word enlightenment too much because of this particular problem. It's not even gradual. It's the gradual, yes, gradual dropping of the loads of wrong notions about I, about other jivas, about the world, about Ishvara, Jiva Jagat Ishvara. Dropping the load, dropping all that is not needed. And so, if you take one month course, you say, oh my God, I know so much now. I think I'm enlightened, yay, yippee. But since I had such a good time, let me sign up for the next one. And in the next one, you say, I don't know what I was thinking back then, now I really know. And so it's just a series of wonders, and it's a continual wonder. This knowledge is an absolute wonder and a constant surprise. How did this one living in this limited body, mind, sense complex know itself as limitless? That is itself a surprise. It's a surprise for the teacher. And when Pujya Swamiji used to tell jokes, and then he knew the joke was coming, and the joke was just so original, it just came from him, and he would laugh the loudest because he was in wonder and surprise. He would laugh the loudest. So, Ascharyo Vakta. Ascharya, this will all come in the Kathopanishad. Ascharyo Vakta. And then the Shrota Kushalaha means equally adept is the student, equally surprised, equally in awe. And the greatest surprise and the greatest wonder of all is Shrutvapi Naveda Kaschit. Even after years and years of listening, business as usual, nothing happened. That is the greatest surprise. So it's a wonder. And in the face of this wonder, all the things that you wonder about drop. All the things that are not needed drop. And this droppage is a growing clarity. So what we call self-knowledge, the abidance in the self-knowledge is more experienced as a growing clarity than a one-time kind of a happening, OTP. No. So it is more of a growing clarity. And the growing clarity, the clarity grows in response to the dropping of the raga, dvesha and various notions. So that is basically how it functions. Because the self is not an event, the self is not time bound. In fact, the self is the canvas upon which all events unfold. Is this understanding correct? We study Sanskritam because the bhasha is the embodiment of the truth revealed to the rishis who conveyed it. Sure, we can look at it that way. Places have different frequency vibrations. When we meditate at those places, Puri temple, Kashi Vishwanath, Ganga Ghat, etc., the feeling is different and feels like we are making rapid progress in our spiritual journey. Does this universe have a frequency, and is it true that we need to reach that frequency to get knowledge? No. Yeah. Yes, I accept that everything has frequency. There is frequency. EMF is there. What is that? Electromagnetic fields are there. Everything is a frequency. Everything there are there. And then some people are sensitive and they can sense them. And right at the outset, let me tell you, I am not one of those people. Okay? Yeah. I am not one of those people. If you put me in, where did the questioner say? If you put me to meditate in Puri temple, Kashi Vishwanath temple or something, I don't know what would happen. I don't know that I would have some kind of a life-altering experience because I meditated there versus here. There is something called Sthala Purana, meaning there is a certain reason why certain temples are in certain places, because it is a hallowed place by itself, and it is also because perhaps Adi Shankara established the temple, or because it's a very ancient temple and many sages have come and meditated there, so the whole place has become purified and the energies there are very pure. So that is so you can say that is the reason why one may have a better meditation experience sitting there as opposed to sitting in one's own home. But that doesn't mean that that in order to gain moksha you have to know all these frequencies. Those are two different things. Moksha does not depend on how wonderful your meditation experience is, because the meditator is already free. The already free meditator who does not know his or her own glory meditates to tame the mind and to focus the mind to be intent on the study. That is the purpose of Vedantic meditation. It is not to keep in, what was that? To jive with the frequency of the earth and all that. That is not necessary. For moksha, what do we need? Knowledge. What kind of knowledge? Self-knowledge, because moksha is about the self. So we don't have to bother, thankfully, we don't have to bother about the frequencies, we can just enjoy them. How would one distinguish between genuinely moving towards true purpose and simply trying to escape the discomfort of life? Again, another wonderful question. Yes, because one can say that apathy is vairagya. Yeah. Vairagya, why bother? That is the idea. Vairagya means dispassion. And then one could be feeling depressed or despondent and mistake that for dispassion. But dispassion is not disinterest. Disinterest may be just a phenomenon there, but dispassion is choosing not to engage in certain things because one has grown out of it. Like if you are playing with a toy car with your niece, nephew, or a small child from the neighborhood. So the child goes, you also go like this. And then the child says, I'm going to race you. Yes, I'm also going to race you. And then the child says, whoever wins gets both the cars. And you say, yes, let us find out who wins. And then what do? You cheat on purpose so that the child will win. You don't say, you don't say, I want to win. I win because I'm bigger, stronger than you. You are a 2-year-old. I am a 52-year-old. Of course I'm going to win. And I'm going to win. Now both the cars are mine and the child is crying its head off. So you don't do that. Why? Because you have played the game and you have fulfilled yourself with that. You have outgrown it. You have outgrown it, and you have outgrown the doll. You have outgrown the teddy bear. Although in the US, everybody who is grown up also has a teddy bear in the bed. Yeah, I don't know why, but anyhow. So, you have outgrown this stuffed toy. You have outgrown all these things. And then you are able to play with it. And you are able to enjoy somebody else also playing with it. It's not like, oh, this is an impediment, teddy bear is an impediment to moksha, I'm never going to look at it, or this is very boring. No, you are objective. So vairagya is more defined as objectivity rather than dispassion. Pujya Swamiji was the first one to do that. He said this dispassion, compassion, passion, all these things, this dispassion doesn't make sense. It's objectivity. Looking at a thing without a certain overlay of either the Shobhana Adhyasa or Ashobhana Adhyasa. Shobhana Adhyasa giving it more value than it has, Ashobhana Adhyasa giving it opposite value to what it has. Hating something just because, or loving something just because, and by itself that object is neither hateable nor lovable. It simply is. And so vairagya is being able to see that all the things in the world simply are. The 4th chapter of the Panchadashi, a very highly venerated work, talks about this very well. What does it say? It says that there is a diamond that fell. Maybe a diamond merchant was carrying it and in a pouch, and one very expensive diamond fell. There was 2 people on this side, one on this side, one on that side. These 2 fellows were salivating and hoping that the diamond would fall from the pouch. They saw that it had a little tear and they thought it will fall. And as soon as it fell, they made a beeline for the diamond. One of them got it, became Labdhamanihi, and the another one did not get it. So the one who got it, what does he do? Jump up and down, throw his t-shirt into the air. I don't know why they do that, but they do that sometimes after games and winning the games and all that. And the other one is sitting and crying and then saying, I lost it, and is cursing the other fellow, you just cheated and you came this way and whatever it is, you did not allow me to come, you pushed me, all these things. Then there is a third person. Who is the third person? Always a sadhu. Okay. The sadhu is looking at the diamond, going on the road, minding his own business, looking at the diamond and looking at these two fellows without any reaction to any of them. So that is called a neutral stance. This is what we cultivate as Vairagya. So neutral doesn't mean you cannot enjoy it. Neutral means you are objective about it. You can enjoy it, but you don't need it in order to be who you are. And that is the difference between despondency, despair and Vairagya. In fact, the sages recognize this. This confusion may exist between Vairagya, the real Vairagya, and the false Vairagya. The false Vairagya is called Shmashana Vairagya, funeral ground Vairagya. And what is that Vairagya? Temporary. The kind of Vairagya which is false. Somebody dies, some young person dies in the neighborhood, and you say, oh my God, she had everything going for her. She was young, she was well educated, dynamic, she was rich. And in 1 second, all that is gone. And so saying, you go to the funeral, you go with a party, funeral party, and then after the in the funeral you tell yourself, I don't want to enjoy anything anymore. I have no desire for enjoyment. What is the point? I don't like anything. And then you come home and the significant other has cooked some food and you say, what's wrong with you? There is no salt in the food. So the Vairagya is what? Short-lived Vairagya. And that is one kind of false Vairagya that the Shastra discusses. Another kind is that of someone who is a Nashtarajya, somebody who has lost something big, like a kingdom, like a business. There is a kind of Vairagya, despondency-based Vairagya. Dirgharogi. Dirgharogi means chronic sufferer. They have tried everything, nothing works, or everything works for 5 minutes and then it doesn't work. So they have to live with that condition. So then there is a certain kind of a despondency or apathy there. It is very different to, you can discriminate between that. The one who has true Vairagya is a happy person, not an unhappy, despondent or apathetic person. You mentioned that King Janaka had a special way of teaching. Please elaborate. One time, one brahmachari came to him, and so he asked him to hold out his hands. Brahmachari holds out the hands, and in one hand was placed a earthen lamp full of oil and a wick and a light. It was lit. The other one also the same thing. And then this is nothing. In India they dance with these lights. They stick the lights with a little bit of glue on the hand and you go like that all around without dropping anything. But this brahmachari did not know that. And so he did not know that dance and wasn't trained in that. And then he was asked to hold these two things in the hand with the oil brimming to the edge of the lamp, and he was asked to take a tour of the palace, a guided tour of the huge palace without spilling a drop. Brahmachari was stressed out but very careful and went all over. The last room, they said, the last room is so and so. He was just so happy. This is the last room of the tour. Finally, presented himself before the king, proud, happy. Maharaj, look, not even a single drop. Good Brahmachari, very nice, wonderful. Now describe to me the murals in room number 347. And he said, what? Who had time to see all that? I just could barely keep this going. Well, you have failed the test, Mr. Brahmachari. Go back again. They topped off the oil because the wicks had eaten some of it. Topped off the oil. Go back and see everything and then come back again without spilling. So Paramarthika and Vyavaharika, both. This is how he would teach. It is said that when the student is ready, the Guru appears. How does this sacred bond unfold over time? Is it something that grows organically through learning and grace, or is there a point when the Shishya is meant to make a formal request for guidance and acceptance? How should one understand the development of a long-term relationship with a Guru? You have to make a, how did you put it? Formal request. Of course you have to ask, because this knowledge is not given until it is asked. So one has to ask. Ask means you have to say, this is what I want. So when it is nice to, I don't know if it is true, it's nice to believe that when the student is ready, the teacher appears. That's kind of nice. And maybe it is true also, because Bhagavan, sees there is a desire to learn, and the desire is offered up in the form of a prayer, and the Guru comes as an answer to the prayers. This is a very nice thing. But we also say, I would also say in Vedanta, that when you are ready, the teacher disappears. In you, as you. That is the whole idea. Ishvaro Gururatmeti Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavat Vyapta Dehaya Dakshina Murtaye Namaha. Namaha to Lord Dakshinamurti. Who is this Dakshinamurti? The one who beats up the differences between Ishvara, Guru, oneself. So, internally there is no difference. But still, this knowledge is full of paradoxes, and so the knowledge of non-duality is gained by forging one more duality. One more dual relationship between who and who? Guru and Shishya. So, as the other day I said, don't wait for the Guru to choose you. That is okay for a high school ball, high school dance. That's different. Here you don't wait. You have to be the one who says, you are my teacher, or I want you as a teacher. Then only that person becomes a teacher to you. So that is how the thing is, the bond or the relationship is forged. I won't call it a bond. We are trying to get out of bonds. Okay. So this is how it would be forged. And over time, see, that is why how to maintain it over time, we have to make a sankalpa. And this has held all of us, all the teachers now who were students earlier, this has held us in good stead. What is the sankalpa? Is that you transcend the personality of the teacher to focus on the person. That person is you, really. The person in the teacher and the person in you is that Purusha which is you. That is what you are trying to get to know. That is what you are revering. You are revering this principle and then you are revering this concept. And so therefore, the Shastra has a beautiful mantra, Gurur Brahma, Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So in the Guru you see Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva. In the Guru you see Brahman. Why? Because otherwise it's difficult to see Brahman. So in this way what we do is we transcend the personality and only focus on Bhagavan. We see Guru as Bhagavan, so that otherwise what will happen? We will only focus on the flaws of the Guru. Oh, Guru is picking the teeth. How uncouth. And Guru is saying something to somebody. How uncouth. Guru says, what is for lunch? Oh, they shouldn't even be thinking of lunch. How uncouth. Judgments are flying high, because that's what we do best, is judgments. And then when we do this, the relationship deteriorates. Where? In my own eyes it deteriorates. And I want that to not deteriorate because I want the knowledge. So therefore it has to be kept going without deterioration. So I have to transcend the personality and focus on the personhood or the person that is the Guru. And that person is non-separate from Bhagavan. I am also non-separate from Bhagavan, but the Guru is modeling that, and so I go to the Guru to learn that. Guru is not only modeling that, but teaching that also, because this is eminently teachable. And so I go to learn that. And so therefore we have to have this proper understanding of keeping this relationship going, because I get to the place of stopping to find flaws. If you find flaws in the teacher is not affected. Who is affected? Your own knowledge is affected. The transmission of that knowledge will not come properly to you, because then you are regarding the Guru as somebody with lot of problems. And so we are focusing on what? Only the problems. They did this, they didn't do this, they don't like me, they are not looking at me. Yeah. Thankfully with these online classes you don't have to worry about all that. Yeah. Wherever the teacher looks, they are looking at you only. So this is kind of nice after post-COVID. But before that it used to be a big thing. One person came and told me, you don't like me. I said, what is your proof for that? Because you don't look at me in class. Where are you sitting? Behind the tallest person in the class. She was sitting. So in order to look at her, I had to go like this. Yeah. Or I had to go like this. Then I could have a little glimpse somewhere. Then I pointed it out. I said, if you didn't sit behind this basketball player, perhaps I could look at you. Oh, am I sitting? She had no clue. It's all the unconscious mind. So, two people come to the Guru. One wants the teaching. And what does the other one want? A hug. Yes. One wants mummy, daddy, and the other one wants the teaching. And so, true it is. Yeah. One wants to be acknowledged, one wants to be validated, one wants to be praised. We have all been there. Yeah. When Pujya Swamiji was alive and I came to any of his ashrams, I would not look to the left or to the right. I would run from the gate straight to him. This was my habit. And then after he left his body, The first time when I came to Rishikesh, I think it was the following year or something, and then I again ran from the gate, believe it or not. And then there was another Swami who is no longer there, Swami Aparokshananda, and he talked to me, and he was trying to talk to me, and I was like, no, I have to go see Swamiji. So this kind of thing is there. It is a joy to have that connection. It is wonderful, and there are many needs that we bring. We bring the need of wanting to be validated. We bring the need of wanting to be loved. We bring the need of needing to be parented. I still need mother. I still need father. And in a way, the Guru reminds one of both. So, therefore, it's okay that those are there. They have to be made conscious. They have to be made into a conscious fact rather than an unconscious move, because if we are conscious of them, these needs, we will not act upon them, in inappropriate ways. Otherwise, one gets angry at the teacher. One is not angry at the teacher. Who is one angry at? Father, mother. But then it is transferred on to the teacher. So in the beginning, the teacher is put on a pedestal. After a while, the teacher is shoved to the ground from the pedestal. So this is because two people, the inner child and the adult, both approach the teacher. And so we have to decide what is it that we really want. And it was beautiful to see Pujya Swamiji, because he would have the Vedanta book in one hand and a rattle in the other. Ooh, goo, 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 gaga, tattvamasi. He could manage both. We, even though we are his students, we are extremely pale reflections of him. Yeah, very, very pale. We cannot manage that. Only he could do that. How he did that was just beautiful to watch. It was just marvelous to watch. So much to learn. Very difficult to learn also. You could conceptually appreciate it, but it was very difficult to emulate. Very difficult to emulate. But a teacher of Vedanta is responsible and gives a wide latitude for these kinds of things to happen, and understand, and the teacher understands that yes, there is a certain way, or there is a certain need to face one's own shadow side as part of this growth, and it is okay. It is okay to take the time. It is okay to do that. But the reverence for the teacher must be held unshaken. That is the way to maintain this sacred connection. Last one. Is Yoga Darshana the same as stages mentioned in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras? What is the difference between Vishishta Advaita and Advaita? Is Sankhya Darshana similar to the Sankhya used in the Bhagavad Gita? Can any of the Shad Darshanas result in moksha? Is Buddhism a variant of Advaita? Why should Bhagavan Bhakshakara, why was he against Gautama Buddha? He wasn't against Gautama Buddha. There was an ancient form of Buddhism, and we'll talk about that. Sixth question, what happens to Sukshma Karana Sharira after death? Seventh question, is it okay for Advaitis to celebrate birthdays? Yeah. बहुत माल है भाई. Yeah. Lots of mal. Okay, I think we are going to defer it because people will fall asleep. All right, yeah. Lots of questions are there. Next time, nobody ask any question, okay? We will only deal with all of these. 7 questions, all right? Yeah. Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayah, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kaschit Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Asato Ma, Tamaso Ma, Mrityurva. Om Purnamadah Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.